Good morning students. Today's class we will see the solved question paper of October 2015. So the first question was enumerate the steps of research process and explain the conceptual phase of the research. Quantitative research is an inquiry into an identified problem based on the testing of a theory composed of variables measured with numbers and analyzed using statistical techniques. The research process is a systematic way to obtain knowledge through scientific examination of data and empirical testing of hypotheses. These activities involve 5 phases with 18 steps. They are: first one is conceptual phase, which include formulating and delimiting the problem, review of literature, undertaking the clinical or the field work, developing a conceptual framework, and formulating hypotheses and assumptions. Second steps involve design and planning the phase. These steps have selecting research approach or design, developing the intervention protocol, specified identified population, designing the sampling plan, develop tool for data collection, establishing ethical consideration, finalizing the research plan like reviews the plan, test and retest, check the reliability of tools, submit the proposal. Third phase is the empirical phase, which involves data collection and preparing data for analysis. And the final step is analytic phase, which includes analyzing the data, interpretation of data, and dissemination of data. And in the dissemination phase, which include communicate the findings, utilize the research findings in the practice. So we'll see in detail about the conceptual phase. First one is formulating and delimiting the problem. In developing a research questions, nurse researcher must attend substantive issues, what kind of new evidence is needed, theoretical issues, clinical issues, methodological issues, and ethical issues. Examples: perhaps the research team has a hunch that use of pelvic floor exercise might help the woman in second stage of labor. This hunch is probably based on a knowledge of anatomy of pelvic muscles and the process of delivery. It might also be supported by personal or professional experience of midwife. There are several ways in which the questions could be developed. Second is review related literature. The next stage is to find out what evidence already exists in the chosen research area. It is a waste of time and money to conduct research where the answer to the question is already known. What is already known about a specific subject can be found from the variety of sources. Books may be the starting point, but quickly become out of date if the subject matter is just topical. Academic journals are better place to start, and access to online database Singhal make this task speedy and relatively simple. Third step is undertaking the clinical or the field work. The clinical or the field work can provide perspectives on recent clinical trends, current diagnostic procedures, relevant healthcare delivery notes. It also helps the research to understand the client which care is provided. Such field work can also be valuable in gaining access to an appropriate site or in developing research strategies. The fourth step is defining the framework and developing a conceptual definitions. Theory is the ultimate aim of science. It transcends the specified particular time, place, and group of people and aims to identify regularities in the relationship among the variables. When quantitative research is performed within the context of the theoretical framework, that is when previous theory is used as a basis for generating predictions that can be tested through empirical research, the findings may have broader significance and utility. The fifth step in the conceptual phase is formulating hypotheses. The research question identifies the concepts under investigation and asks how the concepts might be related. That is, hypothesis is a predicted answer. Example H1. There is a significant difference in the mean score of understanding of a patient receiving informed consent for coronary angioplasty by routine method and using a visual package. Next question is the short notes. The first one is purpose of research. Nursing research enables the nurses in the following ways. They are: define, develop, refine, and extend scientific base of knowledge which is required for a quality nursing care, education, and administration. Enhance the body of professional knowledge in nursing. Provide foundation for evidence-based nursing practices. Help in expansion of knowledge which is essential for continued growth of nursing profession. Enhance the professional identity as research is an essential component of the profession. Define parameters of nursing which will help the nurses to identify boundaries of nursing profession. refine and eliminate alt knowledge so that it helps in elimination of nursing actions that have no effect on the achievement of desired client outcomes. Identify nursing care practices that make a difference in healthcare status of individuals and are cost effective. Research in nursing practice helps in health promotion, maintenance and disease prevention, patient safety and quality of healthcare, promotion and risk reduction intervention of health of vulnerable minority groups and marginalized community, patient-centered care and care conditions, promotion of health and well-being of older people, palliative and end-of-life care. Research in nursing education include testing the the efficiency of all teaching method, techniques and generating newer effective teaching tools and techniques, curriculum taught and learning experience of nursing students at undergraduate and postgraduate level, enhancing the psychometric domain of learning among nursing students in clinical practices. And in nursing administration, assessing the existing organization structure, span of control, communication, staffing pattern, wages, benefits, performance evaluation practice, and its effectiveness. In addition, developing a new knowledge or refining the old knowledge regarding nursing administrative phenomena. Developing and testing different administrative models to enhance swift administrative employees and customer satisfaction. Retention and effective use of nursing personnel in providing quality of nursing care. Furthermore, research can conduct of any phenomena related to nursing administration issues. The third question is questionnaire. It is a set of predetermined questions for all the respondents serve as a primary search instrument in the survey research. Used to collect factual information, consists of a form containing series of questions. A question is a series of questions asked to an individual to obtain statistically useful information about a given topic. When properly constructed and responsibly administered, questionnaires become the vital instrument by which the statements can be made about specific groups or people or entire population. Characteristic of a good questionnaire include it should be concerned with specific and relevant topic, should be short, directions and wording should be simple and clear, questions should be objective, embracing questions, presuming questions and hypothetical questions should be avoided, should be present in a good order, should be attractive, neatly printed and clearly arranged. Type of questionnaire are structured questionnaire or closed-end questions. They are predominantly on the closed questions which produce data that can be analyzed quantitatively for patients and trends. The agenda is entirely predetermined by the evaluator and provides little flexibility for the respondents to qualify their answers. A closed question can be answered with either yes or no. Likert scale is commonly used in survey research. It is often used to measure the respondents' attitude by asking the extent to which they agree or disagree with a particular question or a statement. Second is unstructured or open-ended. Unstructured questions are there is no list of answer choice from which they have to choose. Respondents are simply asked to write the response to a question. Here is an example. Open question is likely to receive a long answer. Example of non-structured: what are the facilities and services do you expect from your library? The third type is semi-structured question or partially structured question. Take a mixed approach. In some situations, you may have a partial list of answer choice, but you still have some doubt or uncertainty about other possible response. You can create partially structured questions in such following. That is constructing a questionnaire, deciding the type, writing a draft, pretesting, concluding with specific procedures. The steps include decide what information you have to be taught, decide what type of questionnaire should be used, write the first draft of questionnaire, re-examine, revise questionnaire, pretest the questionnaire, edit the questionnaire and specify the procedures for its use. The fourth question is probability sampling. It is a sampling scheme in which every unit in the population have a chance to being selected in the sample and probability can accurately. The types include: first one is simple random sampling. It's the purest of probability sampling, assures each element in the population has equal chance of being included in the sample. Systematic sampling relies on arranging the target population according to some ordering scheme and then selecting the elements at regular intervals to that ordered list. Systematic sampling involves a random start and proceed with the selection of every care element onwards. The third type is cluster sampling. The primary sampling unit is not the individual element but a large cluster element. Either the cluster is randomly selected or the elements within are randomly selected. Stratified random sampling is a population embraces of the number of distinct categories. The frame can be organized into separate strata. Each stratum is then sampled in an independent subpopulation out of which individual elements can randomly selected. Every unit in a stratum has the same chance of being selected. Advantage include cost effective. As a task of assignment of random number to different items population is over, the process is half done. It involves lesser degree of judgment, comparatively easier way of sampling, less time consuming, can be done by a non-technical person even, sample representative of the population. But the disadvantages include chance of selecting class of samples only, rebound, redundant and monotonous work. The surveyor is asked to do the repeat job to assign numbers and to take the information that is likely to surveyor suffers a monotony and effectiveness of the system will be reduced. The fifth question is type of reliability. Reliability is one of the important characteristics of any test. It refers to precision or accuracy of measurement of score. Reliability refers to the stability of a test measure or a protocol. Reliability refers to consistency of score obtained by the same individuals when re-examined and the test on different occasions or the different set of equivalent items or under other variable examining conditions. Three important types there are test, retest, reliability. In test, retest, reliability, the single form of test is administered twice on the same sample with a reasonable time gap. In this way, two administration of the same form of the two independent set of score, the two set then correlated give the value of reliability coefficient. Split half or internal consistency reliability. It indicates homogeneity of the test. This method is the test divided into two equal or nearly halves. Common way of this test is odd even method. Then the third one is parallel forms reliability or equivalent forms. The alternative forms techniques to estimate reliability is similar to test retest method except that different measures rather than the same measure are collected at different times. If the correlation between alternative forms is low, it could indicate that considerable measurement error is present because of two different scales are used. When a group of examinees being tested in homogeneous in ability, the reliability of the test scores is likely to be lower. But when the examinees vary widely in the range of ability, that is the group of examinees is heterogeneous one, the reliability of the test score likely to be high. Sixth question is graphical representation of data. There are many graphical representations. Among that, the first one is bar diagram. Different types of commonly used diagrams are simple, component, multiple, or percentage. Simple bar diagram, it consists of rectangular bars of equal width drawn to common baseline with equal space in between. The length of the bar must be proportional to the observations in each category. This is an example of a bar diagram which shows profit of a bank for 5 years. In 89 it is 10 million, 90 it is 12, 91 it is 18. So 89 it is 10, it is 12. So it is a simple bar diagram. Second is component bar diagram. In the different categories of a data further subdivided into various components to be presented graphically, a component bar diagram is used. For example, so there are 91, 92, 93, 4 years, wheat, barley and oats. So we have to have a, in 91, wheat 34, barley 18, oats 27, so total 79. 92 is total 81, 86 and 94 it was 92. So how we can make a component bar diagram? So here is the component diagram. The color difference shows which one each color which shows the wheat and the violet color which shows the barley and the blue color which shows the oats. So total it is 80. 91 it was 80. So it shows it is a component bar diagram. Then percentage bar diagram. The components are marked in percentage. In this the total length of all bar will be the same. As in case of a component bar diagram, total length of the 100% is subdivided proportionally into the components. So for example, there is a divisions ABCD and total strength of the students are 64, 56, 54, 50 respectively, and the students who pass in the examination in the A division, sorry it will change, the A division is 36 and B it is 42, C it is 27 and D it is 23. So first we calculate percentage of students who passed. So in division it is, in the division A 53 percentage and division B it is 38.75 and division C it is 50 percentage. Sorry, in the B it is 75 percentage and C it is 50 percentage and D it is 46 percentage. So we can make a percentage with the total length of all bars will be the 100 percentage. So here the blue shows the percentage of students who passed in the examination. So multiple bar diagram, two or more set or interrelated data represented in a single graph we call it as a multiple bar chart. So in 91 there is a 8,000 imports and 4,000 exports. So it shows that so to export and import of one particular this is a multiple factor shown in a single sheet, so it is known as a multiple bar chart. Other graphs are histogram, line graph, frequency polygon, scatter diagram or dot diagram. Importance of research report. Research report is a well-crafted document outlines the process, data and findings of a systematic investigation. It is an important document that serves as a first-hand account of the research process, and it is typically considered as objective and accurate source of information. In many ways, a research report can be considered as a summary of research process that clearly highlights the findings, recommendations, and other important details. Reading a well-written report should provide you with all information you need about the core areas of the research process. Importance of research report include: first one is knowledge transfer. Second is identification of knowledge gap. With this research report, you could be able to identify knowledge gap for further inquiry. A research report allows you to present information in a precise and concise manner. Professional improvements, quick source of problem solving. Ninth question is pre-experimental design. Pre-experiments are simplest form of research design. It is the pre-experimenter, either a single group or multi-groups are observed subsequent to some agent or treatment pursuant to cause a change. So two types of pre-experimental they are. One is one-shot case design. In this design, single experimental group is exposed to a treatment and observations are made after the implementation of the treatment. There is no random assignment of subject to the experimental group. There is no control group. Second is one group pre-test post-test design. It's the simplest type of pre-experimental design where only the experimental group is selected as study subject as per the test observation of dependent variable is made prior to the implementation of the treatment of the selected group. Afterwards, the treatment is administered and finally post-test observation of dependent variable is carried out to assess the effect or treatment on the group. This design measures effect of intervention before, that is the pre-test, and after the experiment, that is the post-test. There is no control group in this design also. Advantages include its very simple, convenient design which helps the researcher to conduct studies in natural settings. It is more suitable for the beginners. The disadvantages include it is considered very weak experimental design to establish a causal relationship between independent and dependent variables because it controls no threat to internal validity. There is a higher threat to internal validity to the research, may have selection bias, which is a very serious threat. Normal probability curve. In the literal meaning of term is normal is average. When we make up this term while computing the average in data related to education, psychology or sociology. In this area, those who are able to reach a particular fixed level of qualification or characteristic termed as normal. The simple terms of probability will mean the possibility of being selected. Normal probability curve is mainly computed for finding out average strength of the class, average marks and its distribution. For this curve, the mean, median, mode are the same at the center of the curve. The curve is perfectly symmetrical. Since there is only one maximum point in the curve, the normal curve is unimodal, that is have only one mode. It extends from minus infinity to plus infinity. As the curve does not touch the baseline, the mean is used as the starting point of working with normal curve. To find the deviation from the point that departs, that is the mean, and a deviation of the distribution is used as a measure of measurement. As two equal halves, the curve extends to both sides minus 3 sigma distance to plus 3 sigma distance on the right. Total area under the curve is equal to 1. completely determined by its mean and standard deviation. Empirical rule, 68% of area under the graph is within one standard deviation of the mean. About 95% of area under the graph is within two standard deviations, and 99.7% of the area under the graph is within three standard deviations of the mean. This is a picture of a normal probability curve. It's a bell-shaped curve with only one hump in the middle, which tapers on the either side, same fashion, touched only in the infinity. That means three measures of standard tendency, mean, median, mode are equal. Next question is also of review of literature. We have been seen many times in the other question papers, so I am just skipping it. So difference between a quantitative data and qualitative data. Quantitative data deals with numbers and statistics. Primary focus is on testing theories and hypotheses, requires many respondents, close multiple questions. Data collection methods include survey, experiments, and observations. Data analysis method include finding the common patterns in the data using tools such as SPSS, Excel, etc. But qualitative deals with words and meanings, focus on exploring ideas and formulating theories, requires few respondents, open-ended questions. Data collection methods include interview, focus group, case studies, and literature review. Data analysis method include thematic analysis, discourse analysis, and content analysis. Hypothesis and research question. Hypothesis is defined as an educated guess, while research questions are simply a researcher wondering about the world. As the name suggests, research question is always written as questions, hypothesis written as a statement. Before writing hypothesis, the researcher must determine what others have discovered about this subject. On the other hand, research questions require less preparation, but focus and structure is critical. When writing the conclusion of the research conducted using a hypothesis, the researcher will write whether the hypothesis was correct or incorrect, followed by the explanation of the result of the research. The researcher use only research question will write the answer to the question followed by the findings of the research. The next question is difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. The meaning of descriptive statistics is branch of statistics which concern with describing the population under study. But inferential statistics is a type of statistics that focus on drawing conclusions about population on the basis of sample analysis and observation. Descriptive organize, analyze, and present data in a meaningful way. It explains data which is already known, summarize the sample, describe the situation in form of a chart, graph, and tables. But inferential, compare, test, and predict. It attempt to reach conclusions to learn about population extent beyond the data available. It explains chance of occurrence of an event, which is a probability. Difference between interview and observation. Interview is a formal conversation between the interviewer and the respondent when the two participants in the question answer session. Interview is in the oral form, the objective type, and it is the analytical information. Observation, as the name implies, refers to a situation where participants are observed from a safe distance and their activities are recorded minutely. It is a time-consuming method of data collection. It's recorded data. It is covered with the fact that the observed is not known to the participants. Median and mode. Median is the middle number in the given set of observation is called median. Place all numbers in ascending or descending order. When data distributed as square, median is the best representative. The most frequently occurred number in a given set of observation is called mode. The mode is derived when the number has frequency occurred in a series. When there is a normal distribution of data, the mode is preferred. Thank you. Thank you for listening.